Right now, inside every cell of your body, there are tiny sacs filled with some of the most destructive chemicals your body produces. Chemicals so powerful they can dissolve flesh. And the only thing stopping them from tearing you apart, right now, as you're watching this, is the fact that you're alive. The moment that changes, they get out. And the process begins within minutes. Today we're going to find out exactly what triggers this hidden countdown the instant your heart stops, why some organs essentially dissolve themselves before any bacteria even arrive. Then we'll ask a question that almost nobody thinks to ask. If your stomach is already full of acid powerful enough to break down food, why doesn't it eat through itself while you're alive? And here's the part that will genuinely change how you think about your own body. The answer reveals something extraordinary about what it takes just to keep you in one piece every single day. Let's start at the moment everything stops. Your heart ceases to beat. That single event sets off a cascade most people never hear about. Blood stops flowing, and with it, oxygen stops reaching your cells. Every cell in your body runs on oxygen. It fuels the tiny chemical engines that keep cellular machinery working. Without it, those engines stall. And when they stall, something unexpected begins to happen from the inside out. As oxygen disappears, cells can no longer clear their own waste. Toxic byproducts begin to build up inside the cell, and the internal chemistry shifts dramatically. The environment inside the cell becomes more and more acidic. Not gradually, but within minutes of death. That rising acidity is not just a passive change. It's the trigger for something far more destructive. As acidity spikes, the membranes that hold cells together begin to weaken and rupture. Think of a cell membrane like a sealed container, keeping everything carefully separated. When that seal breaks, everything inside spills out. And what spills out is the problem. The cell's own enzymes, normally locked away and carefully managed, flood into the surrounding tissue and begin breaking it down. This process has a name: autolysis. From the Greek, auto, meaning self, lysis, meaning to loosen or dissolve. Your body, quite literally, begins to digest itself. The main culprits here are organelles called lysosomes. Every cell in your body contains them. Their job during life is genuinely remarkable. They act as the cell's waste management and recycling system, breaking down damaged proteins, worn-out cellular parts, and foreign invaders like bacteria. To do that job, they carry a payload of powerful digestive enzymes. Normally, the lysosome's membrane keeps those enzymes sealed safely inside. But when the cell membrane ruptures after death, the lysosome membrane follows, and those enzymes are suddenly free. Here's what makes this so striking. During your life, lysosomes are indispensable. They are the reason your cells don't drown in their own debris. They break down old material with precision and control. But that precision depends entirely on the cell being alive and actively managing them. The instant that active management stops, the very enzymes that kept you functioning become the agents of your breakdown. The tools of maintenance become the tools of dismantling. It is one of the most elegant and unsettling ironies in all of biology. Not all organs go at the same rate. The ones that break down fastest are the ones richest in enzymes, or the ones with the highest water content. The liver, which is essentially the body's chemical processing plant and is packed with enzymes, tends to show autolysis early. The brain, which has exceptionally high water content, is also among the first to show significant breakdown. These are not coincidences. They are direct consequences of the very features that made those organs so powerful while you were alive. And then there's the stomach. This is where things get particularly striking, because the stomach is already filled with some of the most corrosive chemistry in the human body. Hydrochloric acid, powerful digestive enzymes, the kind of chemistry that routinely breaks down meat, bone cartilage, and dense proteins. Every meal you eat is dissolved by this environment. So here's the question that should bother you. Why doesn't the stomach just digest itself, right now, while you're alive? The answer is one of the most remarkable feats of biological engineering you've never thought about. Living stomach cells constantly produce a thick protective mucus layer that coats the interior walls. Beneath that, the cells actively pump out bicarbonate to neutralize acid before it can reach the lining. This is not a passive structural defense. It is an ongoing, energetically expensive, continuous act of self-protection. Your stomach cells are, in a very real sense, working around the clock to make sure you don't eat yourself alive. The moment death occurs, that defense stops. No more mucus production, no more bicarbonate pumping, no more active cellular protection of any kind. And the acid and enzymes that were safely contained, held back by living effort, are suddenly in contact with undefended tissue. The stomach, which was engineered to digest biological material, begins digesting itself, and it is remarkably good at it. Here is the mid-video twist that reframes everything. Autolysis is not something that goes wrong. It is not a malfunction or a failure. It is, in a sense, your body's systems doing exactly what they were designed to do, just without the counterbalance of life to keep them in check. Every enzyme released by a lysosome is doing its job. Every acid molecule in your stomach is doing its job. What's missing is not the mechanism. What's missing is you, the living system that kept all of it calibrated and contained. Forensic scientists and pathologists pay close attention to autolysis for a very practical reason. The degree of self-digestion visible in tissues can help establish how long it has been since death occurred. Because the process follows a roughly predictable biological timeline, driven by chemistry and temperature, it becomes one of the clocks investigators use to understand what happened and when. The body, even in death, continues to speak in the language of biology. It's important to understand what autolysis is not. It is completely separate from what bacteria do to the body after death, a process called putrefaction. Autolysis is the body breaking itself down from the inside, using its own enzymes, with no microbial involvement whatsoever. Putrefaction, which comes later, is the work of bacteria. First your own gut bacteria spreading beyond their usual confines, then eventually microbes from the environment. Two entirely different processes, often confused, but chemically and biologically distinct. And here is where the story becomes something more than unsettling. It becomes, in a strange way, beautiful. The very process that dismantles the body is also what allows its components to return to the larger biological system. The enzymes released during autolysis begin breaking complex biological molecules back into simpler forms. Those simpler forms become available to the ecosystem. The breakdown is not an ending so much as a transition, a releasing of stored biological information back into the world. Your gut microbiome, the trillions of microorganisms living in your digestive system, are also part of this story. Research from institutions studying decomposition has found that after death, the gut microbiome does not simply die alongside you. It persists, shifts, and eventually spreads. These microbes, which spent your lifetime helping you digest food and regulate your immune system, continue their metabolic work after death, contributing to the broader decomposition process in ways scientists are still actively mapping. Your microbes, in a sense, outlive you. So take a step back and consider what you've just learned about your own body. Right now, the only reason you are not being dissolved by your own chemistry is because you are alive. Living cells are not just passive structures. They are active, expensive, continuous defenders of their own integrity. The mucus in your stomach is being produced this moment. Your lysosomes are sealed this moment. Your cells are pumping, defending, calibrating constantly. Life is not simply the absence of death. It is an ongoing, effortful resistance to the chemistry of breakdown. There is a deeper question hiding inside all of this. If your body contains the machinery of its own destruction, built in, present from birth, what does it mean that you spend every moment of your life in a kind of dynamic negotiation with that machinery? Every breath, every heartbeat, every active cellular defense is part of that negotiation. And when the negotiation ends, the machinery doesn't stop. It just changes hands. Which leaves you with one final thought to sit with. Is the body's ability to digest itself after death a flaw in the design, or is it the design? If you'd like more explorations like this one, stay tuned. There's a lot more strangeness hiding inside your own biology. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.